Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Belly Up Sports TV's Corner Booth 200 from Richmond. My name is Josh Sobel, and with me tonight, Alan Cahaley. How's it going, Alan?
I'm doing fine. Excited about this final race of the season here.
Yeah, it's all come down to this. The last race of the season, 4 races in, about to be 4 done. Richmond under the lights, and it's going to be an interesting race tonight. Looks like the setups are pretty loose from what I've been hearing.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch this practice session. It looks like it's really loose coming out of turn 4, but it actually looks a little bit tight coming out of 2. It kind of turn 2 at Richmond kind of reminds me of turn 2 at Darlington. It's like the wall just seems to sneak out and bite you if you're not careful. So definitely a challenge here at Richmond. And I mean, it's going to come down to who is able to keep their car off the wall and off the grass in the infield.
Absolutely. And tonight we're going to go over the rules. We're looking at 200 laps here under the lights at Richmond. No quick repairs with 6 set of tires. And then, of course, your payouts, which are going to be huge. $480 for the team with the most points. Right now, that's Stay Tuned Sports in the lead. $200 for individual drivers, which on your screen right now, you do see the standings. Brian Mercurio there, 134 points in the lead coming in. And then $20 to the winner for each race. So Brian trying to go for the three-peat. He's won the last 2 races, Dover last week and then Atlanta before that. So looking to get that three-peat here tonight. Speaking of the standings, right now we got Jake Roel sitting in second at 103, Brian Smith at 101. Kenny Lowry, who's actually not here tonight, he's going to be subbed in by Matt Forcappa. I'm going to be taking that 22 spot. He's sitting in 4th in standings. Daniel Baldler is sitting 5th with 83 points. Nick Massey is actually up there, sitting in 6th place with 83 points, tied with Daniel. Then you got Dylan Thomas, who's also tied at 83. And then you have Joseph Causey at 82 points, sitting in 8th. Scott Crump and Greg Olenek both sitting 9th with 80 points. Sorry. So kind of interesting to see Nick Massey on the standings.
Yeah, I mean, he's the case of what could have been because he has been very fast. I mean, we have seen him put lap times down really in every race, very close to the leaders, but just those unfortunate connection issues that he seems to have every race have just killed him. But yeah, I mean, what he usually ends up doing is, he starts the race, people tell him, hey, you're blinking, you're blinking. He either ends up getting disconnected or he falls back on purpose. But then at the end of the race, he is able to put together those late race charges and end up with some good finishes. So yeah, it's really frustrating for him because, like I said, he's been quick. It's just that those unfortunate connection issues have him further back really than he should be. Although, like you said, he's in a good position currently.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have some driver fill-ins for tonight. Like we stated before, Kenny Lowry in the 22 for Stay Tuned Sports is filled in by Matt for Kappa. And then Tate Lytle in the 56 car is going to be replaced by Ryan Lutz tonight as well, too. Want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors as well. Corner Booth Podcast. A little bit of information I've got. So it looks like they're part of the Belly Up Sports Network for podcasts. They do everything sports related. So you can head over to their Twitter over at Corner Booth Pod. That's Corner Booth Pod. And then you also have Peak Auto, a huge one for tonight. They have a basically a brand for your motor oil, antifreeze, and other automotive products. Pete Auto has been an independent family-owned business for over 40 years, so they know what they're doing when it comes to anything automotive related. Trying to say those words so quick is just a tongue twister. But a huge thing that they're doing as well over on their Twitter is right now they're giving away a hero card. There's only 100 of them made currently. So to enter, go to the website that's on the screen, peakauto.com/peak squad. And they'll actually contact the winner by the end of the month. So plenty of time to get in on that. Make sure you hit them up over at peakauto.com. And they also have a Twitter at peakauto as well, too. So huge shout out to those guys. Thank you so much for the sponsors. We definitely appreciate it. But it looks like we're going to get ready here. The guys are going to be getting gridded up. So let's go ahead and see what we got for tonight's grid. Brought to you by Peak Auto. Looks like Brian Mercurio sitting up there in first. A huge spot for him. Scott Crump and right there beside him in row 1. Row 2, Nick Massey and Damian Leininger. And then we have Justin Krasinski and Ryan Lutz in row 3. Row 4, Matt Forcappa and Jake Roel.
Row 5, we have Dylan Thomas and Tyler Riggs. Row 6, we've got Dean Brummett and Brian Smith. Row 7, Jacob Smith and Joseph Kazi. And in row 8, we have David Duke and Daniel Bowdler.
And row 9, we have Hank Steinmiller and Thomas Rutherford. And row 10, Chris Wright and Gerard Campbell. And rounding us out is Brandon Bowering. So, got that underway. I think, they do the quick laps here, don't they? Or are we going to do a couple pace? Okay, cool. Looks like we're going to do a couple of pace.
And look who's already in the pits. Nick Massey, already having issues tonight.
Oh, yeah. Nick Massey's been having some crazy connection issues in the last couple of races, unfortunately, already starting off in the pits. But one guy who's pretty much set in stone where he's at up in first, Brian Mercurio in the 41. He's been having a huge run here in the last couple of races. Him and his teammate Scott Crump there on the outside. I mean, pretty much his teammates in the top 10 right now. So Stay Tuned Sports is a force to be reckoned with here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're by far the favorites. So we are about to get started. Green flag flies. Excuse me.
Yep, and we got Brian Mercurio getting a great run, like always, off of that. His teammate right behind him, Scott Crump, being battled by Justin Krasinski there in the 05. Someone who we haven't seen up front a whole lot throughout the season is Justin Krasinski in that 05. So hopefully he has a good showing here tonight. But Damian Leininger up there in the 12, right behind Scott Crump, trying to battle him for that third place position.
Yeah, on the front stretch, you're going to see these cars try to stay as close to that wall as they can. You want the transition to go into turn 1 as smooth as possible. You want to keep it as wide as you can because, like I said, turn 2, coming off of 2, will just jump out and bite you. That wall, just that can make or break your race right there. So it's going to be interesting to see who can stay off that wall.
Yeah, right now, guys are doing a good job keeping it single file. Loose alpha 2 is kind of the big thing here at this track, based from just personal experience that I have in these cars. But a nice little short track. I'm like indifferent about Richmond. It's a fun track if you have the right guys running it.
Yeah, I do like Richmond. It is difficult to pass. I'm the opposite of you, though. I get tight off of turn 2 and then very loose off of 4. So
yeah, I think I drive it too hard. Yeah, my driving style is terrible in these cars. I can't race cup cars to save my life.
Yeah, but the NIS series was at Richmond not too long ago, and it was very, very difficult to pass. It was definitely a one-groove racetrack. As we do have a few position battles going on, but overall it seems to be a pretty single file right now.
Yeah, it looked like Dylan Thomas there was battling Damian Leininger in the 12, trying to take that position away. He secures that. Right behind him, Dean Brummett looks like he is finally back up and healthy, back in that 25 car tonight. He did miss last week's race due to some complications of COVID, so glad to see him back on the track and glad that he is doing well also. And just like that, 12 of Damian Leininger trying to take that spot back away from Dylan Thomas in the 03 car. Going to try to get it done going into turn 1, and he most likely will. And Dean Brummett's going to try and take that spot away as well while it's open. But I think most of the runs here are on that high side. You get a lot of momentum.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways that you can get around this track. You can go a little more aggressive into the turns, and that's better known as dive bombing. That can be very frustrating for a driver that tries to be a little more gradual into the turns and try to have more momentum coming off. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can get around, but tires, you always have to keep that in mind. There is a pretty steady drop off in tires, so you'll see the lap times climb throughout the run. But so far we've been able to get off to a pretty clean start. once these cars get spread out, expect a long green flag run, but it's getting to that point that's the issue, especially at these short tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing Justin Krinsky here in the 05 trying to fight the 22 of Matt for Kappa, sitting in spot for Kenny Lowry. It's weird seeing the 22 being up there, but Kenny not being a part of it. So I knew Kenny had a little bit of a target on his back after last week's race. So kind of sad to not see him here tonight and try to defend what was happening last week.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting time that we got to be a part of, but yeah, it's always disappointing, but oh well, someone else can step in and try to get a good finish there.
So the big thing happening here tonight with the last race is the team points and individual points are going to be huge. Like we were stating before, Dean Bro with the 11 car right there. Jacob Smith getting loose, coming off of 4. 19 of Jake Rael going to battle him now. Hopefully they can clear that up. So during the driver standings, Stay Tuned Sports is ahead at 392 points. They gained a spot over Stryker, which is at 361. And for those of you who don't know who are in the groups, the Stryker Motorsports is made up of Jake Rael, you see there in the 19. Dean Brummett, who's actually in the 25 ahead of his own teammate, which is Jacob Smith. So these guys are actually running 9th, 10th, and 11th right now together as a group. So they're going to want to make their way through the field and try to get ahead of Stay Tuned Sports drivers who are currently ahead of them to gain those points back. The 03 of Dylan Thomas is part of Stay Tuned Sports in 7th position, and then the 22 of Matt Fort Kappa. Scott Crump is also up there, and of course Brian Mercurio, the leader, who's just absolutely running away with this thing right now.
Yeah, he's out to a little over a second and a half of a lead right now, getting closer to 2 seconds. But yeah, definitely a strong start for him, as we were expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. So looks like he just, besides Talladega, he just enjoys like the mile and a half long tracks, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, Talladega is always just, there is strategy with Talladega, but there's also a lot of luck involved. You have to be in the right place at the right time, so you never know what can happen at Talladega. But yeah, I mean, after that, it's all about being easy on the tires, yet getting those fast lap times. And yeah, Brian Mercurio, and looking at his I rating, 73.70. That's about what you'd expect. He has a lot of experience, obviously, so this is probably what he expected to do in this league.
Yeah, the interesting thing with Richmond is the banking here too. I noticed that the front stretch and the back stretch have like completely different banking. The front stretch is a little bit more angled at 8 degrees compared to the back stretch at 2, which is almost, that's basically flat at that point. And then going into the turns at 14 degrees. So it's a nice little, honestly, the personality of Richmond's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. And one thing that you kind of don't really think about is Richmond's actually one of the oldest tracks on the NASCAR circuit. It hasn't been on the NASCAR schedule as long as some other tracks, but it was originally built in the 40s. Not in the current configuration. Yeah, I saw that close car. But yeah, not the current configuration. It was about a half-mile track for a long time, but now it's 3/4 of a mile. I believe that was in the upper 80s when it was brought to its current configuration. But yeah, definitely a historic track. And so, yeah, I mean, you kind of see, the personality of it. And it's definitely one of the bigger races of the year.
Absolutely, and one of the biggest races here tonight amongst a lot of these drivers. I'm expecting later on when we got 200 laps, they're doing a fantastic job of keeping it clean right now, 21 laps in. The fuel run is something that caught my eye. 120 laps is the expected fuel run if we stay green, and that's a lot. I don't know if, I guess with it being 200 laps, when you hear 120, you're kind of like, that just seems like a lot to me. You can run 120 laps without having to worry about fuel.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as far-fetched as you think. I mean, it's a little over halfway, so that's about typical, but you almost wonder, we're already seeing almost a second lap time slower than how we started. Brian Mercurio, his best lap time was a 21.411. His last lap was a 22.325. That's 9/10 of a second of runoff that we're seeing already on these tires, and we're only on lap 23. So you can imagine, I mean, we're probably going to be seeing, 3 seconds slower laps by the end of this run. So you almost wonder if these guys might come in for tires and try to split it up into 2 pit stops rather than trying to make it just one for fuel.
Yeah, and I mean, there's almost a 3-second gap between Brian and Ryan right now. So I wonder if Brian is really just pushing it early on, or how well he's saving those tires compared to the other guys.
Did something happen to Justin? Because he was up there.
Yeah, Justin's back here in 6th now. He was battling the 12 of Damien. They just kind of lost that group, it looks like. Because Scott Crump's really not that far behind. You see Scott there. Justin just now coming in the picture in that red and white car there. I think they're just losing the group, honestly.
Yeah, Ryan Lutz up to 2nd place and running pretty close lap times to Mercurio. So, we're starting to see the tires really start to even up with everybody. Really, I mean, the top 8, they're all within 3/10 of one another. So, I don't think that Brian's going to be able to keep on running away as much as he is. Now, he has a nice lead right now, a 4-second lead and then some. Or excuse me, a little over 3 seconds, excuse me. But yeah, still pretty even lap times that we're seeing right now. In fact, Damian Leninger had the fastest lap that last lap at 22.395.
It looks like, just trying to find out from Tyler Riggs' point of view, but it looks like the 9 of Joseph Causey's got some rear end damage, but I can't tell. It looked like there was some rear end damage. It looks like
it definitely has a dent on his back bumper.
Like, I don't know if it's the angle, the way that his paint is, and the lights here, but it's like messing with my eyes. It makes it look like he got a little bit of damage in the rear end. Go back up to the front. Looks like the guys are starting to space out up here now too. Starting to see a little bit of gapping happening between 2nd to 4th. But I think Ryan's actually gaining on Brian Mercurio right now. There was about a 3-second difference. Now we're about to 2.5. So it looks like he is catching up to him, slowly but surely.
And I actually found where that damage happened with Joseph Causey. It was actually way back on lap 13. It wasn't a hard hit by any means. It was just a little bit of contact between him and the 6 of Daniel Bowdler. But really, it wasn't even the rear end of his car that was involved. They just kind of door slammed each other just a little bit. But for some reason, the back bumper decided to cave in a little bit. So just one of those iRacing things that you see every now and then. Just a little bit of a glitch in the damage model.
Yep, and we saw Gerard Campbell there in the 17 take a spot away from Jacob Smith. It looks like these guys now on the Striker team, 25 and 11, and even Jake Roel on the 19 are starting to fall back quite a bit. They were pretty much up there near the top 5. And now we're looking at almost out of the top 10 as Daniel Baldler there in the 6 is going to try and battle Dean Brummett, but Gerard Campbell's got other plans for him, it looks like. Going to try to battle him here off of 4 to the front stretch. And then Joseph Causey now working on Jacob Smith in the 11 car as well, too. Going to take that spot away. The 11 has just been very squirrely ever since he got loose off of 4. So, and just like that, Joseph Causey getting loose on the backstretch. So, we'll see. We'll have to see what Jacob Smith here in the 11 can do off of 4. This is kind of like his, kind of an area where he struggles the most, it seems.
Yeah, here at Richmond, once these tires lose grip, your car just kind of slips and slides all over the place. It doesn't tighten up where you need it to, and it doesn't loosen up where you need it to. It seems like it's always the opposite that happens. So, yeah, it's definitely a handful to hang on to this car with with tires 34 to 35 laps old. So, we'll see if these guys can keep it together. As we're seeing a lot of cars start to struggle, and he even hit the wall right there.
Jake Roel just hit the wall there. His partner Joseph Causey right in front of him. actually got real loose off of 4, so tires are starting to take some sort of effect on most of these guys. And now Jake Roel is going to be battling the 9, Joseph Causey there, but it's just going to take that spot away.
Yeah, just behind them, Hank Steinmiller also got real loose coming off of 4. So yeah, we might not be too far away from a spin here based on what we're seeing right now.
37 laps in, 37 green flag runs so far. Guys are doing a fantastic job keeping this thing green, but now you're going to start seeing the pace really start to slow down. Tires are going to start taking effect, like you're saying up there at the front. Brian Mercurio almost a whole, what now, over almost a second and a half off his best lap now. So the fall off is getting real.
I'll tell you what, Ryan Lutz is catching him. He is he's down. He has the time behind him down to 2.3 seconds. So Ryan Lutz putting together quite a run right now, and we might be seeing him up there near the front in just a little bit.
I'm gonna look at the line he's taking here. Most of it, Richmond, from what I remember, is just up against the wall and diving in through the corner that way. Kind of nice and smooth too, doing a good job. But you can see Brian Mercurio just right there. He's just that much closer to taking that spot away. He's gaining on him every single lap right now as well too.
Yeah, and he gained over a tenth that last lap, and even Damian Leninger was faster than Mercurio that last lap. So Brian might have used up his tires a little more than he meant to in this first run, and that's always tough. The first run is always the toughest as we have a caution.
First caution out here tonight at Richmond, lap number 41.
It's the 25 of Dean Brummett. Looks like he went around all by himself. And yeah, just he actually, I thought he got loose off of 4, but he actually was well onto the front stretch when it happened. Kind of a strange place to spin, but he does bring out the first caution.
I have the replay up. Try to take a look and see what happened to Dean here. All right, so you see that bright purple and teal 25. He's right there with his teammate. Yeah, just on the front stretch across the line, just self-spins it. Not too bad. Does a great job of keeping it under control, though. No one else gets involved there, so just a little self-spin. That's all it takes. The tires are starting to get to that point as well, too. And we saw a lot of guys getting loose throughout the track, so let's take a little ride on with him and see what happens here. A lot of power coming out of 4. Really throws the throttle down.
And literally everybody came down pit road, so that just shows you how important those tires are. And it looks like Nick Massey is actually the lucky dog. Yes, right, he was just 1 lap down, so those early connection issues are going to be okay after all, as he will be back on the lead lap now.
Got a lot, yeah. Looks like everybody coming to pit road. I was wondering when someone was going to hit that green cone. Had a lot of guys pretty close. And Brian Mercurio is going to win that one off of pit road under caution here. Matt Forcappa in the 22 up to second. Damian in the 12, actually a huge gain. Was all the way back in like 7th, 8th, all the way up to 3rd. Same with Justin Krasinski. He was also back there about 8th, 9th, now made it up to 5th. So those guys had great pit stops coming in. And the fastest person on pit road was actually the 22 of Matt Forcappa, it looks like. Not by much, only by 0.2 seconds from Brian Mercurio. So stay tuned, sports guys, getting in and out. Who is in that 18? Oh, it's Brandon. He drives the 54, but it looks like he's hosting the Skittles car tonight.
Yeah, he's currently being shown at 1 lap down. He'll take the wave around. That won't put him on the lead lap because he's technically on the tail end of being 2 laps down. So that wave around will put him back to 1 lap. But another quick caution, he would be the lucky dog because he's the only one not currently on the lead lap.
So a lot of these guys trying to, figure the track out. They did a good job, 41 laps in before we saw our first caution. So we might see some good green flag runs here and maybe some, hopefully, green flag pit stop.
Yeah, I'm also noticing that Chris Wright did register for this race, but he has not been on the track at all. So not sure what happened there. But we have only started the race. We had 21 entries, but only 20 actually racing.
Yeah, I think a lot of what's going on as well too, and this was something that I was talking to Alan about off of the broadcast, is unfortunately you have those guys that see, oh hey, I'm so far behind on points, the team is nowhere near being competitive to do anything for points. So I think a lot of these guys unfortunately took it as there's no point in me running tonight. So I think we're seeing a little bit less people than we normally would. But not really by a whole lot.
And Dean Brummett also being shown 1 lap down. So he and the 54 Brandon Browning will be racing for the lucky dog on this run. But the difference is Browning has fresh tires. Dean Brummett stayed out and does not have those fresh tires.
The green flag is back out here at Richmond. Brian Mercurio. Not a great restart. Got the field still on him. Matt for Kappa right on him. Damian Leininger in the 12 being battled by the 51 Scott Crump. Oh, Justin Krasinski just comes out of nowhere. 3 wide behind him. I don't know how these guys are keeping it, but the 03 holding his own in the middle there. We kind of saw a little bit of it, but let's go back just a bit. Krasinski just, man, he comes in hot. Right on board with him. He's battling Scott Crump, who's also battling the 12 of Damian there. But once we go into turn 3 right here, you're going to see just, I don't know what happened. He gets into the rear end of Crump. Crump gets loose. I'm pretty sure he saves that there. Yeah, it looks like he does save it.
He might have overshot it just a little bit there.
Yeah, definitely overshot that quite a bit.
And that's what we were talking about. I mean, some of these guys, they run different lines. Some choose to be gradual going into a turn. Some say, forget that. I'm going to be aggressive and try to get my nose, inside. But I don't think that's what he was going for there. I think he just flat out overshot that turn a little bit, and that does happen.
Yeah, 44 of Thomas Rutherford right there in front of Scott Crump. Oh, I see smoke. Joseph Causey slowing down a bit. That's going to bring out our second caution 10 laps later. All I saw was smoke. I was just about to talk about Scott Crump and how he's dropped all the way back from 3rd to 15th in that incident. But
yeah, it looks like the 19 of Jake Rowell was involved there. Just the 2 of them getting into each other going into turn 3.
Right, so Jake Rowell, looks like the 9 of Joseph Causey right in front of him gets a little loose. Going into turn 3 here. Take a look. Oh no, looks like Jake Rowell might have helped him out a little bit.
Yeah, and that's just the difference right there. I mean, we were just talking about it, just different brake marks. And that's just what happens. It's very easy at a short track like this to just get into someone like that. The NIS series was at Martinsville this past weekend, and boy, you want to talk about a mess. That place is just an absolute mess when it comes to your brake your brake points. And a certain somebody got disqualified yesterday, by the way, so that was not fun.
That certain somebody, you?
Yes, it was. And when you're only responsible for one 4X in that entire race, and yet you get disqualified, that makes it extra frustrating. Just so many incidents just happen right in front of you, and it's like there's nowhere to go, and it's what happens. It adds up quick.
Well, looks like, I'm trying to see, I thought somebody was coming to pits. No, Brandon is on pit road right now. Looks like Nick Massey is blinking heavily. He is on pit road again. Not sure. We know Nick Massey's got a weird way of doing the pits, because at Dover last week, how many pit stops did he do? Like 12, 13? Something crazy like that?
Yeah, that's right. I think we believe he just kept kind of coming in to top off, but also I think what he was also trying to do was he was trying to start the next green flag run at the rear of the field to keep those connection issues from causing any issues. And yeah, that's what he's doing here. We're seeing him come right back onto the pits after he was in the pits that previous lap. So that's what he's doing. He's trying to stay as far back in the field as he can for the restart, and that's a nice move by him. That's a good gesture, because he's trying to just stay out of everybody's way until it's time to race for position. Right now, these guys are just turning laps, and the last thing that you want is for connection issues to cause a big wreck. So that's a nice move by him.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that's been seeming to be a kind of a weekly thing for him. I think even at Talladega he was having connection issues as well too. So kind of weird, because I know in Erska, the league that he races in, I mean, he's very competitive in Erska, and I don't think he's ever really had too many server issues. So kind of interesting to see him having such problems with the internet connection here.
Yeah, and it's literally been at every race for him in this league. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not just an isolated issue. He's having some sort of, I don't know. I don't know if he's just far away from where the server's being hosted or what. But yeah, hopefully that's something that he can get figured out for next season.
Yeah, well, he's on the lead lap still, sitting 18th, so as long as he can keep it up, he might have some sort of a shot. But green flag is going to wave here again at Richmond. Brian Mercurio with another fantastic restart, this time by leaving the field just a little bit. Oh, Damian Leininger there getting a little bit of a bump. Someone's up in the wall. Oh, 51 a Crump up in the wall, and that is going to bring out another caution. And Crump not having the night that he's hoping for.
And yeah, that was the 11 of Jacob Smith. Did just claim he did take responsibility for it. He claimed that his brakes locked up going into the turn. So
all right, so we'll see here on the restart. Crump to his outside. Let's try a different angle here. And 3 wide. Oh, 4 wide going into turn 1. Jeez. Not what you want to see, that's for sure. Someone's got some brass balls on them, that's for sure, because, man, even thinking about taking it 4 wide is kind of insane. Watch this one from the blimp cam here. Oh yeah, just nowhere to go. Unfortunately, Crump, another victim in that one as well too. So one of the Stay Tuned Sports guys not having a great night. I think that might be the strategy, taking him out.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to do it. He definitely didn't intend to do that there. Like I said, he did claim that the brakes locked up there, and Crump was pretty understandably frustrated in the voice chat. But this does benefit Brandon Browning. He'll get one of his 2 lap backs as the lucky dog. So just one person not on the lead lap, and even he is only 1 lap down now.
And these laps are going by quick, like 60 laps in already. What, 3 cautions now? Now, of course, as soon as we get our green flag runs, we're starting to see the little spurts of cautions here and there. So
yeah, that's what we talked about. It's not too bad once the cars get spread out, but it's getting to that point that's more challenging than you'd think. Just getting around this track, the different braking points for each individual driver. This is what happens.
absolutely. And the guys that are loving it right now are the ones that are up at the front. Brian Mercurio, Matt Forcappa, Damian even. I mean, Damian had horrible luck last week at Dover. He did sponsor that event as well too, and unfortunately got taken out midway through the race. So sitting in third, looking pretty. Hopefully he can keep it up there. But the Stay Tuned Sports guys now have first, second, and fourth basically covered.
And Josh got a chance to look at the comment section just now, and it looks like the Korner booth has taken offense to the fact that you called Peak the bigger sponsor of the two.
I don't know what they're talking about. I have no recollection of what I've said. Nothing against the podcast. Nothing at all. Peak is just a company. You're going up against a company. You know what I mean? It's what, two guys versus Peak, which is insane. And I heard about Peak. I mean, I heard about Peak early on as well too. I wasn't sure what race they were going to be a part of. Obviously, with them not being a part of Dover, the only other race could have been Richmond, but it was kind of nice for them to come on board as well too. So, you know, getting anyone to sponsor a race is great for anybody, for the league itself, or for a guy putting together a couple of series of races and everything else. If you can get sponsors, I mean, it helps out a ton. That's the only way these guys are able to run for $480 for a team standing. Like, that's literally insane when you think about it. And the fact that people are wanting to throw that money into something that's that's a virtual race, it's just awesome for everybody that's involved.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's, you know, you race iRacing for pride. You do it because you have fun. But hey, you know, for there to be a little bit of money involved. Oh my goodness!
The 78 of Brian Smith just got completely annihilated, and it looks like the cautions are just continuing to fly here at Richmond. And I got a little bit of a glimpse of that. Kind of scared me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Changing the cameras, and I just see Smith just get plowed. Let's take a look here. I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, it was a 17 of Gerald Campbell that got into him there. Just they ended up being 3 wide just before turn 1, and again, those braking points, they're always a little different for each driver. Sorry I keep talking about that, but that's what you saw there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tyler Riggs, if we got to ride on board with him, I think he like Houdini'd through Brian Smith. I don't even know if he took damage off of that or what happened, but
trying to go back on my screen and see if there was any damage there.
78's right in front of him. In a way, 78 kind of cut the nose on Gerard as well too. Kind of comes back up, but yeah, look at that. No damage on that belly up sports car. Just
yeah, you're right. He completely went through him.
It's crazy. Imagine seeing that in real life, huh?
It's got to be the belly up sponsor. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah. Let's not talk about sponsors, all right? Let's not talk about sponsors anymore. Yeah, the belly up car just absolutely doesn't take any damage off of that whatsoever. So, kind of interesting the way that the game thinks where someone's at, and it's like, hey, you're not going to take damage from this.
Yeah, you luck into that every now and then. I mean, there's times where you literally don't touch a car, and yet netcode gives you a 4X, but then there's other times where that happens. You literally T-bone a car, yet you go right through it, and no damage, no incident points recorded. So, yeah, it's crazy how things work sometimes.
Absolutely. I want to see if I can get Kev up here in the booth. Kev, can you hear us up in the booth? See if we can get him talking about the podcast a little bit as well too. Now that we've completed 65 laps here.
It looks like, I was about to say, it looks like his microphone's muted, but I think he has it fixed now.
I have it fixed. I had it muted because I got a dog in the background.
Oh, it's all good, dude. So you're sponsoring this race here tonight. You got the Corner Booth podcast. The little bit of information I got from it is that you do sports in general. Is there anything that you don't cover sports related?
Well, so we mainly do football, and college football, NFL. Hockey's probably the one we talk about the least.
Dang it, my favorite sport too, Kev. Come on.
We'll start talking about it a little bit more next season, just for you.
All right, I appreciate that.
other guy on the podcast, Jared, he's a Penguins fan, quote unquote, but only once the playoffs start.
Oh yeah, of
And
course.
then when I was in college, I went to Alabama. Hockey's not exactly huge down there, so I didn't get to watch it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in South Carolina, and yeah, hockey is. I almost forget that hockey exists. To be honest,
I'm in
with you.
Florida, and I'm a huge hockey fan. All right, Tampa Bay Lightning, been a fan for a decade now. Finally get a Stanley Cup, so I mean, I'm proud. 13 years it took them, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go 15 years to see I'm a Bruins fan. I had to go 15 years to see them win a cup. And it was 29 for them overall, but no, we don't really talk about hockey.
Well, kind of should give us a little bit of rundown. Do you have, where do your podcasts air at?
So they're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I think Podchaser as well. You can find them on. And then also bellyupsports.com. We have a podcast tab, and there's a Spotify player in our podcast page.
And is there any days that you come out with podcasts? Is there a specific day you come out with them?
Yeah, that'd probably be good to say. So we'll probably Tuesday night, or very early Wednesday, and then Saturday. We started doing Saturday podcasts now because on Thursdays at 6:30 at the Corner Booth Pod on Twitter we do a live stream.
Oh, I think in the middle of that we had some action going on. Jake Roel
like
bring out, yeah.
I've seen it. Jake Roel not having a good night right now.
Yeah, it spins out once again. Sorry about that, Kev. He got in the middle of the excitement there.
I'm all for excitement. The more cautions, the better. I feel it really encapsulates the Corner Booth brand of just being a complete disaster from start to finish.
There you go.
Nice. There you go. All right.
So it's a good time. We go off the rails a lot, and Jared and I are saying those are our favorite podcasts.
Oh yeah, the ones where you don't have to worry about what you say and you can just kind of do whatever you want. I think those are always the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the weirdest we've gotten, I think we talked about, I think Plaxico Burris' OnlyFans. I think we talked about that once.
Jeez, y'all really get into it.
We just want to make sure everyone gets the whole story and knows everything that's going on in the world of sports. And Plaxico Burris getting an OnlyFans, that's some big news.
Well, it sounds like y'all have fun over there. I'll have to catch it for sure. I've been trying to keep up with Mike's as well too. Now that we've been doing these races and everything else, so I just got to add another one. I got Stay Tuned Sports. I got you guys now. I got Mike. Just everything's everywhere.
I mean, we'll fill your day.
Yeah,
I'll say this.
Yeah, definitely.
For the first time in my life, my sports teams are finally starting to pay off. I'm a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan. I'm 30 years old, been a Chiefs fan my entire life, so it's pretty awesome what they're doing right now. And the Mets, I'm a big New York Mets fan. Finally, the Wilpons are gone. Thank the Lord. And I think we're finally going to see them start to spend money like a big market team is supposed to do. So. Awesome. Just awesome to be a part of that.
Lucky you. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I saw 20 years of unprecedented success for a city because I'm a Boston fan, and now it's just all going downhill.
Well, I appreciate you coming up to the booth and talking a little bit about it. So they can reach you over at Corner Booth Pod on Twitter. Do you have a YouTube as well, too?
We do. It's the Corner Booth Podcast. I'm actually commenting from it right now.
Oh, nice.
On the race. Just trying to get some brand recognition out there.
Hey, always, man. You got to do what you got to do. Well, we appreciate it, Kev, for coming up and speaking a little bit with us as well, too. So hopefully you enjoyed the rest of the race.
Oh, I hope to. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Take care.
You too.
All right. It's got Kev up in the booth talking a little bit about the podcast. Don't have anyone for peak, so don't worry about it, Kev. They're not coming in the booth.
There you go.
All eyes on you.
So one thing that's interesting there is if we get one more caution within the next couple of laps, that is going to start to bring the fuel run into discussion. You mentioned that 120 laps. We're on lap 73 right now, so these guys not too far away from possibly being able to be good on fuel for the rest of the race. Now, tires obviously are still a big part of it, even if they can make it on fuel, but that is one thing that could get interesting if another couple of cautions come out. And by the way, there is those halfway points that these guys are going to start to be thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting really close to that, just shy of, what, 30 laps? I can't do quick math, so I apologize. 70, yeah, about 30 laps, yeah.
About 26 laps.
So we saw the 19 of Jake Roel go around once again. It looks like the guys are having a really tough time on the restarts now.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what we expected. You know, just they need to get spread out. That's the biggest part of it. If they can do that, they'll be fine. But we're seeing a lot of damaged cars because of these restarts.
Let's see if we can get something a little cleaner here. Green flag out once again. Lap 75 coming down. Hopefully no one takes the 3 wide. Looks like everybody's at least double file coming through.
We've got Brian Smith having trouble coming onto the backstretch. He's able to save it, but boy, his car is badly damaged.
78, yeah, unfortunately
Looks
was
like
involved.
Damian Lineker having some big time trouble on this first lap of the green flag.
Yeah, he's all the way back to 14th, 3 wide, and entry. Gonna get a little tap on the 5 by David Duke. Hits the outside wall. It's gonna slow him down even more, which is gonna allow the lap call. Oh, he's not lapped anymore. Brandon Bowering there in the Skittles, number 18, side by side with him now.
Oh, we've got a fit.
Damien's just having a hard time. Is that the 5 I saw there?
That's Krasinski that just went around.
Here's a Neski. Ooh. Oh, there he is. 05 self-spin, it looks like. We'll have to take a look and make sure.
I believe it was all by himself, but yeah, it's just that he started off doing great in this race, and boy, he is just having some big-time trouble right now.
You can see here, Damien kind of hits that outside wall in the backstretch, 3 wide behind him. Jake Roel with him as well, too. Comes up on the 11. Yep, and just right out of 4. Like you were saying, loose out of 4. So maybe I'm thinking of when I raced the trucks here. Maybe I never raced the Cup cars here, and I just don't remember. Because I could have swore I got loose in 2 way more than I did in 4. Right on board with him. Back it up just a little more. Coming out of 4 right here. Just like that. Luckily, nobody else involved.
Oh, and I went back and looked at the restart, and yeah, Lineker and the 22 of Matt Forcappa were the ones that got into that. That's what got Lineker all loose and out of shape. It looked like Lineker was actually blocking going into turn 3 on the backstretch. So that was, yeah, he was definitely given a little block, and Forcappa just gave him a bump out of the way.
See if we can catch it.
Yeah, it was just after the I believe it was the first lap on the restart.
So the 12 car, Damien right there battling with the 22.
You're gonna see the 22 go low, and then yeah, Lineker just goes with him, gives him that bump right there, and that got him all out
the track. Yep, does a great job of saving it, and then you have so many guys just coming off of 4 like it's nothing. So got an idea of what happened with Damien there. It's going to shuffle him all the way back to 17th currently. Another belly up sports car on the field. Let's take a look at Tyler Riggs, that 26. He's also got belly up on the hood of that car as well, currently sitting in 13th. But yeah, I mean, besides Scott Crump 5 laps down. He's in the pits, going to try and get some of that damage repaired. And that's kind of the thing here. You know, you don't have any sort of fast repairs whatsoever. So you basically just got to get what you can repair in the pits and get back out there. And with a track like this and how small it is, it doesn't give you a whole lot of time.
Yeah, and Crump was, believe it or not, even though he was 6 laps down, he was actually the lucky dog. So a couple more cautions with everybody else on the lead lap, and you never know. He could end up on the lead lap before this whole thing's said and done. Now, he still does have quite a bit more damage to repair, it looks like, but still, you never know what can happen.
Absolutely. I mean, 5 laps down here was especially with the way we've been seeing the cautions come out now, and the restarts are getting a little bit hairier than they should. He could get those 5 laps back in no time, but 19 cars on the lead lap, only really 1 car that's still in it. I'm not sure what happened with Chris Wright, like you were saying before. Kind of just came in and unfortunately didn't get to turn any laps, but the 78 of Brian Smith.
Yeah, I was just about to talk about him. He was badly off pace. I don't believe it was the last restart, but it was the one before that. But I mean, you see his car, he has no front bumper.
And he's starting 6 on this restart.
So yeah, that's going to be a little dicey to see if he can stay up to speed or not. I can't imagine he's at 2,000 RPM. He's got to have a little bit of engine damage there.
Yeah, there's no way, and Matt Forcappa is behind him in that 22, so he's probably going to give him some room. You can see there's kind of a gap right there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens as the pace car comes off, and now we got a new leader, Steinmiller and Campbell, going to bring him to the flag. Campbell trying to take that high side already.
Oh yeah, the top side is stacking up. Brian Smith, yeah, he is way off.
He's in danger right now. Get back here with him, the 78. Likely the guys are doing a good job of getting around him. Justin Krinsky there. A little bit of an issue for wide. Oh, even our leader back here, Brian Mercurio, up into 8th now. But he's got his teammates around him.
We got car spinning. The 44 of Thomas Rutherford, and looks like the 12 of Leninger just got into it there.
And here we go with the cautions. Getting us to caution number 7 of the night. And like I said, it's all been, oh geez, just hit myself in the mouth with the mic. It's all been on the restarts. It's crazy. These guys can't sit double file or anything like that. So let's take a look back at the 44 and see what happened to him. He's right beside 5 of David Duke there, 12 of Leninger behind him. So far, nothing too crazy. Just about 3 wide, it looked like there. But then going into turn 3, I'm assuming he might get some help. Yep. The 12. Oh no, and Crump.
Yeah, I was
Once
gonna say
again.
I thought Crump. I was a little surprised that Crump was on pit road. I thought he was going to be the lucky dog, but I didn't realize he was a part of that incident, which does take away your lucky dog. So he is currently in the pits trying to get even more damage repaired now, as he no longer has a front end. So yeah, just an already frustrating day just got even more frustrating for him.
Absolutely. We'll kind of go on board with him and see what happened. Everything's going to happen in front of him right here. So they go into turn 3. The 12, Damien just hits the 44 a little too much, and Scott has nowhere to go.
Yeah, just nothing you can do there.
We'll see if Scott stays in this one. He's on pit road currently, going to try and get some of that damage repaired, but yeah, one of the Stay Tuned Sports guys just not having a great night. And that makes you think, you know, with Brian Mercurio being back here in 8th place and these restarts being as hairy as they are, what that's going to spell for him if he stays back here for too long.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as crazy as these restarts have been, I mean, yeah, he's definitely, I mean, 8th place sounds great, but when there's only 20 cars on the track, you're in the middle of the field. So you're in one of the worst places you can be. And so, yeah, I mean, he definitely wants to try to get back up there, and he'll be restarting on the outside line too. So, you know, all it takes is for one of those inside cars to just overshoot that first turn, and, you know, they could easily get into you. So, yeah, he's definitely got to be careful while he's, you know, behind these lead cars.
Absolutely. And so far, I mean, as far as the cautions have came out, nothing too major. Hasn't really collected a whole lot of the field, especially the ones early on in turn 1. I'm surprised not more guys were involved in those. It seems to just be like the singular car that gets all the damage. One of those being Smith, who still Just sitting out there in 13th. Guess he doesn't want to try to repair it. We saw what happened on that last restart. The high side just get completely bunched up, and again, these restarts are already hairy. So when you have a car that's not up to speed, you're just making it worse for everybody else around you.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're doing nothing but pace laps, then your car is fine. So
Yeah, that's true too.
I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know if maybe he does. Maybe his car is just in that bad a shape to where his damage is repaired and he can't repair anymore. I don't know that for sure, but that's sometimes the case. I mean, your car's only repaired to a certain amount,
Well,
so if you hit hard enough, then it could be like that for the rest of the race, no matter what you do.
He's only 37. He's 37 laps on his stint, so I don't know if he's came down pit road at all. So we'll have to see what he does. I mean, at least get some of it. You're looking at probably about 50 seconds worth of repairs under pacing. So to at least stay on the lead lap. I mean, you could give an idea to see what it's like, but hey, more power to him. If he wants to stay out, we'll have to see what happens. But that's gonna bring Smith actually in the 11. Back up front with Gerard Campbell, and Gerard just getting a great launch. The 11 loose off the start. And let's see if these guys can hold it together. I see 3 wide back here as we go into turn 1 again.
Joseph Causey got held up by Brian Smith.
Oh no, and just like that,
boy.
Yeah, Brian Browning and the 6 of Daniel Baldler around, and another caution is out. And it looks like Brandon might have alt F4'd. He has completely disappeared from the track. We kind of saw that one on our screen, but let's go back, take a look. See Brian McCurry on the 41 in that orange Stay Tuned sports car up there in the midst of this. The 18, that Skittles car, is going to be the one to keep an eye on. Just tags the front bumper of the 6 and sends both of them. I don't think anybody else was involved in that one either, so I do believe it's just 2 cars taking the brunt of that, and it looks like Daniel did a great job of keeping it under control as well.
Yeah, and Brandon Browning did just disconnect from the server, so it looks like he's had enough of tonight.
Another man that's pretty close to having enough is that guy right there at 51, Scott Crump, supporting the same look as who was the other guy? Smith. No front.
Yeah. So it looks like he's in position to take a wave around. It looks like, but yeah, currently 10 laps down. Now he is still, other than Browning, but Browning did just disconnect, so he won't have to worry about racing him for the lucky dog, but. Still, you need 10 cautions to get back on the lead lap, but hey, you never know. The rate this is going right now, that might just happen.
Absolutely, and I know Scott's been trying to get some of that damage repaired, but I think unfortunately this type of damage he has is just not going to really help too much.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be down on engine power, so at that point, you're worried almost more about your engine not blowing due to, your water or oil temperature getting too high from the radiator damage. But, I guess he figures he might as well stay out and not go down any more laps. And, I don't blame him for that.
Another guy here, Nick Massey, now on his 14th pit stop from tonight, so it looks like he's doing what he does best. He can't be competitive, and he knows he's having connection issues, so 14 pit stops. Go back up here to Gerard Campbell. Now we got Jake Roel up there in the 19. I mean, this is really shaking up kind of the standings, and Jake Roel is, I do believe, sitting in 2nd in points. So he's in a really good spot compared to where Brian is at, because Brian McCurry is back in 8th. So if Brian ultimately gets wrecked out and Jake Roel can stay up front, he might be able to take away that positioning from Brian in the individuals. Take home that $200. But as far as the Stay Tuned Sports team, most of those guys, we got the 22 and 6th position. Brian Mercurio's right there with him in 8th. Dylan Thomas in 9th. The only person that's obviously going to be well out of contention for that is the 20th Scott Crump, but Scott staying out is allowing his team to at least get some sort of points. So that's something people got to remember too. You may be out individually, but at the end of the day, you want to help your team ultimately get into that first place position.
And we are just a couple of laps away from those halfway points too, so keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For those who aren't aware, it's the top 10 that those points go to. 10 points for first place, 9 points for second place, 8 points for third place, and so on, all the way up to the 10th position. Yes. Oh, we've already
and the 9. I just saw that. Was that Joseph Causey? Yeah.
Well, yeah, Jake Rowell was the one that started going around. He was able to save it, thank goodness, but yeah, another pretty messy restart there.
Let's take a look at that real quick because I kind of got a glimpse of it. Gonna be right off the restart here. That 19 car right on the outside of the leader. Guys are just bumping. Oh, the 36 gets into him. That's Ryan Lutz. So that's what caused that pile up.
Got hard in the wall and big mess on the backstretch. Green flag does stay out, but I believe it's the Jake Rowell again, the 19 with some big time rear end damage now. He got into the wall on the backstretch and another car behind him just plowed right into the back of him.
As we talk about Jake Rowell, just like that, spells trouble on the restart. And then
now
gets
we've
a
got
little
9 car Joseph Causey going around.
Yeah, I just saw Scott Crump coming up from the bottom there and just pit maneuver the 9.
I think we might have just had some retaliation there. The 51 of Scott Crump just got into Causey.
Drama at Richmond. Oh boy, I'm loving this. Let's take a look and see what happens here. We're going to see Scott Crump in the 51. Got a lot of damage. Gets bumped by the 44, actually.
Yeah, he actually got bumped, so yeah.
Yeah, the 44 of Thomas Ruffleford might have gave him a little bit of a bump there.
There's
I just saw that right there. We'll take a look here in just a second. Right on board with the 44. Scott Crump in front of him here. We'll take a look and see what happens. And Scott with a lot of damage.
Right now.
Yeah, just like that right
there.
there.
Was definitely contact, so he did get bumped going into the turn.
And then watch this right here.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely throws you off when you're going into a turn. Definitely makes you brake later than you mean to. But yeah, I mean, that's obvious retaliation there. I'm sure race control not crazy about that one. And even Brian Smith almost got into
yeah.
there.
So absolute drama happening here. Scott Crump is completely fed up. Let's see if the 44 comes back with anything. I think he's just gonna know he knows his place. I think after that he's just doesn't care. So got a lot going on. I mean, I don't know how intentional that was, but I don't believe that's the first time the 44 has gotten into Scott. So I can kind of understand it as well too. I mean, it's the last race of the series. You gotta have some sort of fun, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. The way these guys are talking to each other in voice chat, I don't think they're having a lot of fun out there right now. They're pretty frustrated with each other.
Oh man, if only we could hear it. I would. Oh, be great. You know what? Let's get Scott Crump up here. I want to fuel this fire a little bit because I want to know what's going on.
I'll let you take this one.
Get a hold of old Scott. Bring him down. Come on. There we go. Scott, Josh in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, you and the 44 there, Thomas, seem to be having some issues. You want to run us through what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I'm just being used as a brake tonight.
Yeah, you're not having the greatest luck. Everyone seems to just kind of come after you, but it looked like you got some help in that last incident. 44 got in the back of you. I'm not sure how much that caused the incident with you and Joseph Causey in the 9 there, but I'm assuming he moved you up the track with that bump.
Yeah, he just shoved me right into the corner, which pushed me right into the 9. So.
Well, we hope you can hang out there, and I mean, you and the team are doing really good right now in general. So you staying out is doing a great deal with them, just trying to get as many points as you can. So try to stick through it, man, and hopefully we'll see you to the end.
All right, appreciate it. You have a good one.
Bring Scott Crump back up here. There we go. As you can tell, Crump definitely not happy.
Yeah, I mean, would you be?
No, absolutely, like not. Just it's rough all the way around. But green flag again, Richmond, 104 laps, and Gerard Campbell's going to be taking this one. See if the boys can finally figure it out. We've only had about 20 restarts, so let's see if these guys can stick it out and try to get single file here, and we can get some green flag laps in. But Ryan Lutz, one of the guys filling in for Tate Lytle, going to be battling the leader here. Matt Fulcappa also filling in for Kenny Lowry in the 22, going to try and take the spot his way as well. And they make a little bit of contact, nothing too crazy. And, yeah, we still got some drama up front. Brian Mercurio, last time I checked him, he was in 8th, now up to 4th. His teammate behind him, Dylan Thomas, also up to 5th. So Stay Tuned Sports continuing to dominate in the standings right now as they lay. It's Tyler Riggs back here.
The very back of the field, they almost went around. The 9 of Causey having some more issues there.
See Scott Crump in this bunch as well too. The 19 of Jake Rowell underneath him. Take a look and see Dean Brummett just kind of hanging out. Now we've got the guys single filed, so now we should start hopefully seeing some green flag runs here. We're going to be coming up pretty close to that fuel run. Only just shy of 12 laps away until guys can start coming in. But it's weird, even with the less amount of, I mean, they haven't really had too many green flag runs, but the cars are still kind of just all over the place, it looks like. And Gerard Campbell in the 17s, 57 laps on those tires currently.
And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that, I mean, we just went green a few laps ago. I think this is already the longest run that we've had since the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. What, seven cautions in? First caution happened like 41 laps of green flag run. So the guys can definitely get it done here. Let's just hope they can keep it together. But Ryan Lutz taking that position away from Gerard Campbell, leading. And Matt Fulcappa in the 22 now trying to work. Oh, and the 17 of Campbell loose off of 2. And now he's battling beside the 41 of Brian Mercurio. And again, Campbell having 59 laps worth of tires. He is the oldest tires on the track in, the top 10 currently? Yeah, looks like the top 10, he's got the oldest tires, so... Oh, here we go. Battle for 7th, the 6th of Daniel Baldwin and the 12 of Damian Leininger there. Oh, they make contact, and that's going to spin the 6 around. He's in the grass. He's going to hopefully save it. He does. Green flag stays out. And, yeah, the 6 just kind of moving up just a tad on Damian.
Yeah, in his defense, the 12 of Leininger did not give him much room coming onto the front stretch. Typically, you go right up to the wall. I'm sure that's what he assumed he was going to do. 12 actually did get a little bit loose coming off of 4, so I wonder if that had anything to do with that. Just didn't give him much room going onto the front stretch there.
Absolutely. Got a little pinched. See the 11 of Jacob Smith trying to get to the inside of Tyler Riggs in the 26. Tyler's probably just going to give him that spot. I don't blame him, honestly. So it's Jacob Smith in the 11 now up to 8th place. Ryan Lutz starting to create a little bit of a gap between Matt Kappa and the 22, almost a second out. And Brian Mercurio's having a hard time trying to get back up there, it looks like. Go back here to Damian again, battling for the 6th place position of the 05 with Justin Krasinski. Take that spot away, and now the 11 of Smith looking to gain another spot. Gets a good run off of 2, right on board with him. See if he can make this pass. Right there on the bumper. It's about as close as you can get without making contact, and unfortunately makes contact with the outside wall as soon as I say something. And now, ooh, a little bit of a slide job on the back end of Krasinski's bumper.
An interesting turn 3 right here.
He is all over the place. Keep an eye on the 11 car, Jacob Smith. Hits the wall again coming off of 4. We might see something brewing right here.
Ooh, more contact there. Yeah, he's definitely going into the turn. Definitely going into the turn a little bit harder than the 25 there.
Oh man, he is on the bumper of Krasinski. To give you an idea just how close he is.
Yeah, excuse me, that's the 05. The 0 caught me off guard there. And got loose, and he will lose that position as soon as he got it.
And now he's going to lose more than that. The 26 Tyler Riggs going to get around him as well too. And now it looks like Hank Steinmiller in the 63 trying to get to the inside, but yeah, he's just kind of digging. It looks like dug a little too much and gets him loose halfway through the corner, and now all that work he had on Justin just went away, and now his tires are hating him for it even more.
And now we're seeing some strategy start to come into play. The 5 car of David Duke is in the pits, so wonder if that fuel strategy is trying to, see if that pays off. Go ahead and get those tires and, get that time advantage right now. And then by the time everybody else comes in, you think, maybe you've made up enough time on the track to stay ahead. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I feel like it's kind of early, but who knows?
Brian Mercurio, the championship leader coming into this for individual points, sitting in 3rd right now. Again, stay tuned, sports guys. Still up in the top 6, it looks like, so definitely scoring a bunch of points there. I'm not sure where we were at that halfway mark for bonus points for that top 10, so it'll be interesting to see how much that affects the standings, not just for individual but for the team standings as well too. Take a look around the field. Looks like Jacob Smith again going to try to work on Justin in the 05. Must have got around Tyler Riggs a few laps back. See if he can just keep it nice and steady here. Try not to hit this wall, come across the front stretch.
We just had some contact there. Brian
17.
Smith and the 17, it looks like, made contact there.
Caution is going to come out. All I saw was the 17 nail the inside wall.
Yeah, it started with him and who was it that I said?
Brian Smith, yeah.
Yep. It was those two on the front stretch. Yeah, just we'll see it here in just a moment. Yeah, the 17, Gerald Campbell just tried to get low on Brian Smith, and Smith kind of came down at the last second, and just made contact there.
Brian Smith, heavy damage on the car. Let's see on the front stretch here. That was just, I don't even know what you would call that. Let's take another look. I need to get the full story on this one. Let's see what the onboard gives us. I don't know, like maybe Campbell thought he was clear, and then I don't think Smith even moved during all of that. Take another look here.
And something interesting development. Brian Smith was just black flagged for that incident. Yeah, I mean, he was kind of all over the place, and yeah, he definitely came down some. I know, I mean, the 17 was definitely trying to get under him, and just Smith kind of came down with him. I don't think it was on purpose. I don't think he was trying to block. But yeah, just kind of Smith was kind of having some issues controlling his car.
Interesting. So black flag comes out for Brian Smith. I wonder if it's for excessive damage. Does iRacing do that? Like if you have too much damage on your car, they give you a black flag? Because I'd be curious to know.
Sorry, say that again.
No, I was saying, does iRacing throw flags for excessive damage, like black flags for excessive damage?
No. It was actually race control that gave him it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can have you can set limits for a certain amount of incident points. I believe you can do that in a hosted server, but I don't think that's the case here. I think that this is just a manual black flag.
Interesting. So is it a drive-through for him then, or are they doing an EOL?
Yeah, that I don't know.
It's probably, if it's a full-on black flag, it's probably going to be a drive-through, I would assume. Which I'm still surprised he hasn't came to the pits yet, and he's got the oldest tires right now too, 74 laps. Not only does he have a ton of damage, he's got the oldest tires in the field right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'll be able to get the wave around here either, because he was
involved. Yeah. Even though he wasn't the one that caused it, he still got some sort of damage off of it. So I don't believe he's going to get that.
Actually, as we say that, he's going around, so he does get that.
Okay, well, we don't know what we're doing then. I guess I need to find another job.
It's all good. I think because he was involved, that's just where he ended up. There are times where iRacing kind of randomly tells you, even though you should be able to catch up to the field, there are times where it tells you to just stay behind the pace car, and you end up on the tail end of whatever lap you're on. So, I think that's what happened there.
So now we got a new set of leaders, Jacob Smith and Tyler Riggs up front now, Matt Kappa in third, Ryan Lutz fourth, Justin Krasinski fifth. Ooh, and the 11 just, again, all night getting loose. Going to upset that bottom line. Now we're 3 wide going into turn 1, and we already know what's going to happen here. Absolutely nothing. Just like I thought was going to happen. So just like that, the guys get nice and clean into turn 1 after 3 wide, and there goes Ryan Lutz. A little bit of contact with Matt Kappa, and I don't think Lutz is going to enjoy that too much. Jacob Smith back here into the wall in the backstretch. Oh, he's loose. He's going to save it though. Nick Massey blinking on behind him. Tyler Riggs trying to take the spot away, the 6 of Daniel Baldler. Man, there is chaos everywhere.
Yeah, this is just kind of a mess right now. Everybody's getting into everybody. I mean the voice chat right going crazy. Oh my!
The 9, Joseph Causey. Oh, and this is going to collect a couple of people. I think the 11 was involved in that as well too. Jacob Smith, someone who's just been completely loose all night long.
Yeah, it started with the 11 of Jacob Smith. Yeah, like you said, he hit the wall coming off of 2, came down, got into Causey, and yeah, that just started the big one right there.
Look at the blimp cam for this one. We got a lot to cover. We saw him battling with the 6, comes off of 4. This is the backstretch. Nails Joseph Causey, and the 9 comes down. Jesus, and the 18 of Jake Roel.
I think he let off the throttle, but he definitely didn't get on the brake there because he came in with much momentum.
Dude, Jake Roel is absolutely sending that one on the backstretch. I don't even know what was going on there, but I'm doing a ride-on with him, that's for sure. I think he just said, screw it, and see what we can do here. Oh my. And what's weird is he like Houdini through Joseph Causey, and then the 11 just was just there. So Jake Roel again having unfortunate luck at Richmond, and this is going to get extremely interesting just because we're just having a bunch of cautions in general again on the restart, but B, we got a lot of like top tier guys that run really well who are damaged like crazy. So I mean we're slowly losing guys. We may only have like 10 guys without actual damage, like full on damage. And in our leader coming into this and pole sitter Brian Mercurio seeing himself back in 9th, again something he probably doesn't want to see just due to the fact of the chaos we're having here. And it looks like Brian Smith did come into the pits at some point, and he's got 2 laps of two laps on his tires right now. Stayed in for about 1:18, so it looks like he got some of the damage repaired. Obviously, it's not going to be enough. Joseph Causey is supporting that that front end look as well too. Nothing there. And I think we've had more lead changes due to cautions than any other race. Matt Kappa in the 22 up front alongside Damian Leininger in the 12. So we're gonna have to see how these restarts go here. The 03 of Dylan Thomas up front. Justin Krasinski back up front again in the 05. Tyler Riggs sitting 5th. So 2 belly up sports cars up front as well too. Let's see what this restart's going to bring us. Not sure if Alan is aware he is not talking.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm listening to race control right now. I'm sorry.
All right, pace car in. And green flag underway. Tyler Riggs that time getting loose.
Oh, man.
And we're,
Three wide
gosh,
again
I
already.
thought Brian Mercurio was going to try and take it 4, and now 26 of Tyler Riggs is getting pinched. Mercurio going to get underneath him, try to get around that mess, and does so. And now he's got to work on Dean Brummett in the 25, but now up in front of him, Daniel Baudler made contact with, I think, Ryan Lutz in the 36. I feel like we're at a destruction derby, and it's just with cars with a ton of horsepower.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it in just about every race this season. But, you know, survive is the main word, but yeah, I mean, never has that been more relevant than this race right here. I mean, it's just been ridiculous. I mean, it's the only word I can really say.
The 6 and the 63 make contact coming off of 2. Daniel Baudler just like sends it almost 3 wide. Hank Steinmiller in the 63 going to get caught up in the high side. Back up front. Looks like Matt Kappa is finally getting some sort of a gap. Same with Damian between him and Dylan in the 03. So we're starting to get back to single file. Now Nick Massey back here battling for, what, 9th place? Making his way into the top 10 with some connection issues. Not bad. He's going to try and work on Daniel Baudler in the 6. Well, this is what we like to see. Now we got guys kind of single file. Ryan Lutz is trying to make his way back up there. Probably he doesn't have anything nice to say about Matt Kappa in the 22. So once he gets back up front, we'll see if he gives a little bump and go or if he tries to pass him cleanly. But Brian Mercurio also trying to battle Justin Kraninsky in the 05 to take that position away as well. Right on board with him for a bit, and caution's out.
Yeah, we're under caution. Looks like Hank Steinmiller and Scott Crump got into it.
Scott Crump just not making any friends here tonight. Take a look at the replay here. You can see the 63, Scott Crump right behind him there going into turn 1. At 63 just looks like he kind of came back down into the racing line there. Might have just cut the nose on Scott Crump. See it from Scott Crump's point of view here. He's in the racing line. Yeah. This is a racing incident. 63 just comes on down on Scott.
Yeah, I believe there was a little net code involved there too. So yeah, just a racing incident there.
And just like that, 144 in the book, and we're on caution number 10. So of course we have the fuel windows completely open. So right now I think the big thing is going to be tires. The top 8 basically running the same stints right now, about 18 to 20 laps on tires. So it looks like Nick Massey went in. Tyler Riggs also went in. So 2. Joseph Causey also going in. He's currently on pit road still. Probably trying to get some of that damage repaired. Matt Kappa, someone who's filling in for Kenny Lowry in the 22. Up in front, Ryan Lutz in the 36 sitting in 4th. They had a little run-in 30 laps ago. Lutz unfortunately got the wrong side of the deal there and gets shot up the track and gets his position taken away by Matt. So trying to see if we found out who got the top 10 for points.
Yeah, it was during a caution and so yeah, we were trying to wait for it to I was counting down the laps for lap 100 and then just got distracted, and by the time I looked up at the lap counter it was at 108, so didn't really have time to see what order the top 10 was. Unfortunately, it comes and goes, that's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely does. With the amount of changes we've had under caution and wrecks left and right, I don't think this is the way anyone wanted to see Richmond going, especially for the last race of the season, of the series, sorry. But at the same time, it's just a bunch of guys racing hard because they're doing everything they can to gain as many points as they can. But right now, as it would sit, I do believe Brian Mercurio would run away with this individual point standing, and he would be $200 richer. But we still got about 53 laps to go, so I have to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, definitely anything can happen. Still a lot of laps left. I mean, this has been crazy.
See, if they can get these restarts underway, I could see them going the full 50 laps under green for sure. And now with most of those guys basically with heavy damage and almost wrecked out, would hope that this starts to settle down a little bit. Speaking of which, Ryan Lutz, getting battled. No! And Brian Mercurio around after Dylan Thomas in the 03 makes contact with Ryan Lutz, with the green flag staying out. And I'm pretty sure that's something Brian did not want to see. That's unfortunate. The race leader, points leader, the guy who's won the last 2 out of the 4 coming into this thing, and now he sees himself all the way back into 12th. Back up front, Justin Krasinski taking the spot away from Dylan Thomas in the 03. Nick Massey finally being competitive and looking on the inside of Thomas going into 1.
I just realized there was no caution there.
Yeah, there was no caution.
Wow, that's extra frustrating for Mercurio.
Absolutely. They kept it green under that compared to some of these wrecks we have seen. iRacing is just weird with the way they throw caution sometimes, I swear.
Yeah, and that definitely makes it frustrating when you're trying to avoid a wreck, because obviously you don't want to avoid, you don't want to hit a car in front of you, but at the same time, if you don't come to a complete stop, or if you do come to a complete stop and the caution doesn't come out, that costs you a ton of time. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely frustrating when that happens.
Oh, and the 63 of Steinmiller collects the 03 of Dylan Thomas, and now he has spun out on the front stretch. And again, no caution.
Still no caution.
Now we have 2 Stay Tuned guys all the way in the back of the pack now. Matt Forcappa, the only one left on the team, up in the front, leading the race currently. Damian Leininger in the 12, trying to battle him, and the Stay Tuned team. It's like a target.
Yeah, I think maybe iRacing is self-aware. It sees all these cautions for this race and says, nope, no more.
Yeah, they're like, guys, you had 10, I can't throw anymore, all right? We're paying our flag guy way too much as it is. So now we got the 12 car of Damian Leininger here trying to battle 22 of Matt Forcappa. He's about to come up on lap traffic, it looks like. I think that might be Jake Roel, not 100% sure there. Or Jacob, no, not sure who that is, but they're continuing the battle. Now Nick Massey up to 3rd, coming out of nowhere. 19 pit stops, and it's basically paying off for him, up in the top 3 now.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we talked about at the start of the race. This is what Nick Massey does. It's like he always has these connection issues at the start, but then at the very end, it's like well, never mind, he's blinking. Good run, though. He was showing up for a good while, but yeah, now he's starting to blink again. So,
and that's just unfortunate on his end. I mean, you're in the top 3 right now. A perfect place that you want to be. Oh, that's Ryan Lutz right there. Wow, Lutz is about to go a lap down, but again, between him and Matt having that contact earlier, how easily is Ryan going to give this position away? Oh, contact again. Oh my God. Wow. And I do believe Ryan Lutz might have just ruined. Oh no. Oh, Mercurio almost nailed his teammate. I'm pretty sure Lutz just ruined the 22's race. I don't know what is happening. I mean, the 22 definitely made some contact. We'll look at it here. The 22 makes contact. Let's go to the blimp cam, actually. Comes down into 3. Lutz kind of slows up. No, yeah, Lutz definitely comes up on him.
Yeah,
and
Lutz
just collects him.
Yeah, Lutz came up. No joke about that. Yeah, not much you can say there.
I can hear the radio going off on your end, so I'm sure there's some upset drivers. Is Matt saying anything currently? Right on board with Ryan Lutz here. Yeah, just doesn't let off. And Nick Massey, oh, Nick Massey gets a little bit of that as well, too, into the wall. Just like that, an interesting turn of events. Not in a good way. These guys are going all out right now to the point to where I don't even know. I'm completely speechless right now.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just one of those races that it's just gotten out of control. I mean,
I'm curious. All right, let's look at the standings here. So the only person that's going to have a shot, Brian Smith is 3 laps down. He's sitting in third. Jake Roel, 15 laps down. Yeah, I think Brian Mercurio is still going to be okay during all of this. And it looks like he will most likely go home $200 richer as it stands. There's no one even remotely near him. Jake Roel was the only person who had an opportunity to take this away from him. And unfortunately, with Jake Roel being 16 laps down in 18th, and Brian Mercurio there on your screen, 41 up into 7th, there's a good chance that he will continue to keep that. But 22 of Matt Kappa is in pits 2.5 minutes in, so unfortunately he was robbed of his position, and just tempers are everywhere right now.
oh yeah. I mean, the only 2 cars that I see that look like they're in pretty good shape are the 12 of Damian Leninger, which we know he's been caught up in some things in this race, and the 6 of Daniel Bowdler. I mean, everybody else has some pretty obvious damage. For those 2, their cars look pretty good overall, but yeah, this has just been a mess of a race, to say the least.
We got more drama back here. Scott Crump in the 44. I'm not sure what was going on, but it looked like Scott was just like slowed down in front of the 44. And I'm not sure. There's a lot to unravel here. Pace car is coming off. Hank Steinmiller in the 63, Justin Kredinsky in the 05 bring them to the green flag once again. 164 laps under the books, and this is going to be just absolute insanity, I think. Got the 03 of Dylan Thomas still up there, 3 wide as they come out of 4. Dean Brummett down on the 63 collecting the 03 of Dylan Thomas, 3 wide again on the front stretch. Oh, and the 63 clips the 03, and he's going to save it. No, he's not. Spins himself around in turn 1 and 2, and we have another caution. That is going to be caution number 12. And we basically saw it unfold right there in front of us. But let's kind of go back and recollect everything that kind of happened here.
Yeah, and there was another incident that happened too. The 19 of Jake Roel and Scott Crump got into each other just before that incident happened. So, yeah, just more incidents everywhere.
Yeah, see Dean Brummett come up on the 63, which collected the 3, and then as they come in, the 3 just not clear, cuts the nose on Steinmiller there, and that's what ultimately sends him around and gives us our caution. So Richmond just claiming victims left and right here. A lot of guys just not having a good time.
And Jake Roel was just black flagged.
Huh.
And Crump, they both just got black flagged.
Interesting. Did they say for what?
Well, they're the two that got into each other before the wreck that brought out the caution.
Oh, they got into each other before the caution?
Yeah.
Oh.
Coming off of 2.
Oh, then let's take a look at that. The more drama on the backstretch. There it is. Let's back it up just a little more.
And they're hitting each other right now.
51 a crump, 19 backstretch. Just like that. Apparently, we still got some drama going on. This is under pacing.
Yeah, it was just a moment ago.
Anything there? Oh yeah. Yeah. Trump is definitely making it clear in a lot of ways. I don't think I've seen so many pissed off drivers in one race. That's not an official race.
And one thing that's interesting is Brian Mercurio actually currently has a black flag. It was because of, I believe, the restart before this past one. He's been trying to get it cleared, and actually it just was cleared, so he has been cleared of a black flag.
Say more trouble for Brian Mercurio, but now he's back up to 6th place. Dean Brummett up to 4th. Man, again, just the top 5 being shuffled all over the place. I don't want to see. Take a look here. Yeah, so 14 cautions actually. Wow. 14 cautions, 69 caution laps, and 9 lead changes so far. Caution laps. Insanity. Almost reminds me of Lucas Oil.
Just a moment ago, the 5 and the 03 got into it on the front stretch too, so even under caution.
Jeez. There's a lot of upset guys, and there's just too much to realize what's happening. I don't even know where to start. Like, everyone's upset with everybody. I don't know if Crump is going to do something here. Look at the 03. Dean Brummett's racing the 41 and the 6 right now. Nick Massey going underneath the 26 of Tyler Riggs. I'm trying to take that spot. The 03 looking to get back up there as well too. He's going to dive inside of 26 of Tyler Riggs as well. Gerard Campbell trying to get back up there. Nick Massey just flashing more than Christmas lights right now.
Massey's blinking bad right now, yeah.
Damian Leininger taking this one from Justin Krasinski. Trying to gain somewhat of a gap if he can. Kind of go back in the pack here. Scott Crump in the pits. Joseph Causey in the 78 of Brian Smith. Trying to hang on for dear life. Just like that, it's basically these top 8 that we're keeping an eye on here. Brian Mercurio trying to work on the 6 of Daniel Baldler there. A little bored with him. Had a good run early on, gotten into some of the drama here tonight as well too, and still doing a great job with the little bit of damage he does have. Baldler on his outside coming around 4. This is the problem spot for most of the guys here tonight. 24 laps to go. And
The car I'm looking at is Justin Krzyzewski. He has had an eventful night here tonight, but sitting in good position, back in second place, hanging out there with Leninger for the lead. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Leninger is able to stay ahead as he is, or if he's using up those tires a little early.
We see the 03 here. Thomas trying to get back up. You can see Nick Massey in front of him just blinking. This is kind of what you see from his point of view. I mean, Nick Massey was completely gone for all of turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal. I mean, that's one of the scariest things to, see, especially to see a car not far behind you or not far in front of you, but then for there to be a car in between that's blinking in and out. And so you want to get up to that bumper that you can actually see, but you have to keep in mind that there's another car in between. So when that car reappears, you don't know where he's going to be. And so, yeah, it's definitely scary as, oh my goodness.
Oh no. Mercurio just got involved into an incident, and it's going to make him tow back to the pits. And
yeah, that
a lapped car?
That looked intentional there.
Jeez. Oh, that's 100% intentional. Oh my God, the 19. And Jake Roel, who is now gone, just into him like it's nothing. Literally, there's a bounty put out on Stay Tuned Sports in general, and it's exactly what's happening. Now, Brian Mercurio, of course, there's a bug happening and causing his car to be caught in the safer barrier fence. It makes him tow all the way back, which is about a 3-minute tow? I don't know if it changes per track, but roughly a 3-minute tow. So, not sure what the heck is going on. But
yeah, well, that's just
chaos right now.
That just changed things up. Mercurio, all of a sudden, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless right now. This nobody's happy with this race.
It's almost like the guys were like the guys that are racing and know they don't have a shot are just trying to ruin it for those who are in it still. It's almost what it seems like. We have so many different guys just picking fights left and right that it's ruining the race, not just for the guys racing, but people watching, us broadcasting. Like it's just turned into a complete crapshoot, I would say. There's probably only two, like you're saying, only 2 cars that are on the lead lap that don't have damage. And actually, no, the 12 has damage.
And
yeah,
Josh,
I think.
So you might want to keep an eye on the channel currently. Apparently, Jake is causing some issues in Discord now. So just keep that in mind. Just in case you have to mute the channel. if we go quiet, quiet, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I will keep an eye on that, but all of a sudden we just have a bunch of guys just throwing their pride out the window at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is what, I mean, most of these guys, I mean, in iRacing, you typically use your real name. And so, yeah, I mean, for this to go on in a broadcasted league race, I mean, it's just frustration for all these guys. I mean, I just don't know how else to put it. I mean, there's the worst NIS race that I've ever been a part of. I mean, if I'm being honest, wasn't this bad. I mean, I just don't know what else to say.
I don't think there's too much to say, but I think the majority of us are ready to see that checkered flag.
Well, anyway, I mean, we'll keep it as positive as we can. I mean, Tyler Riggs now finds himself in first place. Damian Leninger, we've seen him near the front for most of this race. He did get caught up in a few things earlier, but he's back in it. Krzyzewski, he's been strong. Daniel Baldler fourth, Dylan Thomas fifth. So quite a few guys that can, you know, try to put together a late run here.
All right, green flag once again. Korneski, Damian Leininger up there. 3 wide on the backstretch. The 03 going around. And caution is going to come out again.
And that was actually 2 separate incidents. Hank Steinmiller went around all by himself, but then in front of him, I believe it was the 9 of Joseph No, it wasn't actually. It looks like the
I think
03 of Dylan
yeah.
Thomas. Yeah, he made contact with the 6 of Daniel Baldler and caused him to go around.
Thought he had some help from the back. No, he does make contact with the 6. Yep. Doors the 6, comes out, and I guess Steinmiller just saw the incident and was like, yep. It's like one of those things. It's like weird when you see someone spin, like you completely lose focus, and the next thing you know, you're around.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to overcorrect, and I think that's what we saw there. You just don't have much time to react, and so you just do what you can, you know, your first instinct, and it doesn't always work out.
We're on board with the 63 of Steinmiller here, just kind of get an idea. Yeah, he just got loose off of 2, almost like literally at the same time that the 03 also went around. So not much to say about that one. But Damian Leininger gonna be your leader here, lap 188.
And so now it is interesting to see the strategy. You know, several cars coming into pit there, several not. Joseph Causey was 7th as he crossed the line, but now he'll start near the very back. But with those fresh tires, he could have a chance. He's currently being shown in 10th, so he hardly lost any positions at all. So he'll be good there with those fresh tires. And it looks like 4 of the top 5 are on 8-lap-old tires. Tyler Riggs, who is currently in 2nd, is going on 27-lap-old tires. And then Brian Smith, there's that Brian Smith in the 78. His tire's now 60 laps old. I'll tell you what, Brian Smith, for as damaged a car as he has, he might actually finish with I mean, maybe even a top 10 finish. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't know. Right now, I just think everyone's just trying to get to the end of this thing, and I feel like it literally can be anybody's game at this point. I don't even know what's going to happen in the next 20 laps. Actually, sorry, 10 laps.
Yeah,
my brain's
11.
lagging behind. The next 10 laps, once we come across the line, I mean, I'm not seeing very many guys on the track either.
Yeah, I mean, well, we started with just 21, so we had kind of a small field to begin with, but yeah, it's definitely narrowed out more as this race has gone on.
We got everybody lined back up here. A lot of guys with some heavy damage for sure. But I would hate to be part of the Discord after this one. There's going to be a lot of words being said after this race. Alrighty, space car is going to be coming off here shortly. Damian Leininger, Tyler Riggs, 1 and 2. Damian with a great start. No, Krzyzewski.
Oh man. Jeez.
And Krasinski gets loose off the restart and collects the 6 of Daniel Bodler. And caution number 17, I think, is underway.
I don't know. The 05 just came up. I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
This is off the restart. Take a blimp view from here. 05, that red and white car. I don't know. Looked like he got a little loose. Like I saw him go down low to the apron and then, like, not even really at the apron, but kind of towards the apron a little bit. Right on board with him and see what we can hear. Or hear whatever I'm trying to say at this point. Yeah, like it kind of kicked to the right a little bit. It was weird. All right, well, 6 laps to go. Most of these are going to be run under caution. Pretty much about a third of this race, actually almost half now. Almost 50% of this race has been under caution laps. We did really, really good in the beginning.
Yeah, that's the craziest part of it. That first run was great. I mean, to be honest with you, we were kind of in the middle of it, and everybody was pretty spread out. And I was kind of thinking, man, this might be a rather quick one. And man, it has just been a wild ride since then.
Yeah, from that point on, guys are feeling like they're being raced a specific way. I mean, from what we're seeing in the booth, I'm not really seeing anything too crazy. I mean, a mistake happens, but when you retaliate, then it's neither driver is going to be happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen, except, the one with Roel, we haven't really seen retaliation during a green flag to bring out a caution. It's what's going on during the cautions themselves that are kind of transitioning over to when the green flag flies. Just everybody's just being just recklessly aggressive. I mean, that's all you can really say about it.
Yeah, it's just everyone it's almost like they lost hope and they're just every man for themselves at this point. We're going to go green this time by 5 laps to go here. A little 5-lap shootout. Looks like Dylan Thomas in the 03 making his way back up front. Damian Leininger still holding that first place position, the 12 car. Daniel Baldler there in the 6, and Brian Smith, who I'm surprised is still competitive after all that damage on this car, currently sitting in 4th. Steinmiller in the 63 in 5th place has 7 laps on his tires, so he's got some really fresh tires, but Damian Leininger is going to get a great restart here. Let's hope we can keep it green for these next 5 laps. Dean Brummett just actually that's the 11
Jacob
car.
Smith, don't know what happened there.
Yeah, Jacob Smith just sending it into turn 1. Flipping that wall. Now the 6 of Daniel Baldler racing the 03 of Thomas, try and take this spot away. And really, Daniel's the only one that's stayed out of all this craziness. He's got the cleanest car on the track and can definitely catch up to Damian if he gets the chance. And we're going to have 2 to go, and this is going to be the craziest 2 laps, I'm sure. But I think the gap between Daniel and Damian is just too big. I don't think he's going to have enough to get up there. I think Damian might actually take this as we come to white flag here at Richmond.
Yeah, I think the race is going to be, right now, is going to be for second place between Bowdler and Dylan Thomas. But it looks like Bowdler's been able to get away from him a little bit. So I think we're going to have a clean 1-2-3 finish here.
And this guy right here having a terrible race at Dover comes across the line at Richmond as your winner. Damian Leininger will take home the win at Richmond here tonight and is $20 richer. Definitely going to make up for Dover last week for sure. And Daniel Bowdler in the 6th car finishing in second. Dylan Thomas after all the craziness that, oh no, are they make contact? Oh, I thought they were going to make contact. Dylan Thomas after all the craziness that's been happening here tonight finishes it in 3rd. I know it's been a long night, everyone here, but we're going to have some interviews with the top 3. So I'm going to get those guys ready. Hopefully none of these guys get upset and leave. Oh, okay. The 11 car just comes in out of nowhere. Daniel Bowdler. And I have Thomas. Yeah, I got Thomas there. Who am I missing? Damien. Old Damien. I don't think Damien's in a voice chat.
It looks like he's in Apex.
Oh, I missed it. Okay, there we go. He's kind of hiding there. I hope you got some great questions lined up from tonight's race. We're going to bring in Dylan Thomas here, wrapping up in 3rd place in that 03 car. Dylan, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't know what the hell has been going on here tonight, but it just seems like absolute chaos. Can you give us any idea of what's going on? How's the race been from your point of view?
I got bounced around like a pinball. I'm pretty sure this car looks like it's been ran through a shredder, but somehow made it through that last wreck right there and brought it home in 3rd.
Yeah, you're honestly, we did not mention your name that much during this race, and trust me when I say that's a good thing because good Lord. but I mean, was there any point other than that first run where you actually had to worry about tires or, brake points or anything, or was it just pretty much be ready to avoid the next wreck?
I honestly just rode most of the race. That green flag run we had right in the middle there, I was worried about tires. I went backwards, and I don't know if that was when I got wrecked or if there was a wreck in front of me. It worked out in my favor. I got tires. At some point, I got wrecked, but I took my last set of tires on that last restart. The wreck happened in front of me. I don't know how I missed it.
Yeah, it just seemed like chaos through the whole entire race. We had a really good run in the 41 laps at the beginning of the race, and we were extremely hopeful. How was the car running tonight? Was it more on the loose side, or?
It was really, with the way the setup was worked, for me anyways, it was really snug getting in, but you had to maintain your rear tires coming off or you would be garbage in the long run.
I was going to say, I haven't ran the Cup Series here in a while, so I couldn't remember. I know Turn 4 was chaos for a lot of guys, but it just kind of seemed like the team as a whole almost had like a target on them. I mean, y'all were first coming in the driver standings, and it was almost like everyone's goal was to eliminate as many of you as possible.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. I got hit a couple times. Brian got taken out from the lead. Scott got taken out early. I think his name was Matt. Whoever Kenny's fill-in was.
Yeah.
Sorry, apologies to him.
Matt. Yeah, Matt.
But he got taken out after roughing somebody up, which he roughed him up, but it wasn't that bad. We all had a target on us, really. I just tried to survive and roll with the punches and see where it took us.
I'm not going to say officially that y'all have made it through the standings, but it's probably pretty safe to say that y'all as a team are going to most likely stick out in first. We'll have to see where the points lie. But kind of walk us through, how did you get into everything? Who approached you for Stay Tuned and all that stuff for the team here?
It's actually a funny story, and it comes back to Richmond. Scott turned me going into 3 one night, and we hated each other ever since then. That was in the Erska series, and he needed a spot. I was looking for a spot on the team, and he contacted me, and we let bygones be bygones and hooked up with each other.
Well, doing that might have won y'all $200 there, so that's kind of interesting how that happens, and especially at one track where it's just been complete chaos tonight. But you finish here with a third place finish. Is there anybody you want to shout out while you're up here?
I got to thank all the guys over at Stay Tuned Sports, my spotter Jack for jumping in the last 2 weeks. He actually helped the whole team a lot, checking damage and stuff like that. And I guess that's about it.
All right, well, congratulations on third place, man, and the series is over with, and we'll have to see where the points are at. But it's been a great 4-week senior run, and hopefully we can broadcast another race you're in at some point.
Well, I got to add in thanks to Belly Up and all the guys that put the series together.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dylan. We appreciate it, and you take care tonight.
You too, man.
All right, it's third place finisher Dylan Thomas there, getting a top 3. Another guy I'm sure is going to be excited for where he finished. Going to be Daniel Baldler here in the 6 car. Daniel, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
You have the cleanest car, I'm pretty sure, out of the whole entire field tonight.
Yeah, I don't really know how that's possible. I think a lot of luck. I had plenty of my own incidents through the night, but I think I was just kind of lucky to stay out of the bigger ones.
Yeah, I think staying out of those bigger ones definitely helped out a ton. Kind of walk us through coming into tonight where you felt like you're going to be at. Is Richmond a track that you were comfortable with?
Well, actually, I was just talking to Damien there, waiting in the waiting room there, and I told him, I said I actually bought this track tonight when I got home from work, and I think I did about 55 laps before I jumped into the official session and made 0 laps in practice, ran my qualifying laps, and then ran 200 laps at the race. So I'll take it. I definitely was not comfortable on the short runs. I kind of was hoping for some longer runs, getting a little bit of a rhythm, but I don't know. Ended up working out. I wish I could have had a little more time to practice for sure.
Seem to be doing pretty well so far. I mean, you stayed out of trouble, which was the big thing. Drama kind of all over the place on the track, but it looked like a little bit. I think if you had a little bit more laps, you could have caught up to Damien. You were kind of closing the gap quite a bit on those last couple of laps. But as far as how the car felt to you, since now you're basically coming in with no practice, well, what was kind of like the plan?
Well, I messed up my qualifying laps and actually had to start in the back. I feel like I could have started a lot further forward than what I did, but I think that was a little bit of a blessing in disguise, especially with that long green flag run at the beginning there. I was able to just kind of ride around and learn the track a little bit better and what the car was going to do. It was a little edgy at the beginning of the runs with the brakes, and that was where I was probably the most uncomfortable. Wasn't wanting to wipe everybody out, including myself. So basically, just wanted to have a good solid night and take my time and avoid all the wrecks. That was just pretty much my main goal.
You definitely completed that one for sure. Like I said, you most likely had the cleanest car of tonight, so definitely be proud of that, especially with the chaos that was going on around you. But while you're here, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks to Belly Up first for putting all this on and all the great sponsors that they had come together to put this on. Um, Ended up doing a lot better in this series than I really anticipated. I was going to use this hopefully just for some more learning, just getting bettering myself, but did pretty well for where I thought I was going to end up. And so thank you guys for putting all that on. And I got to thank Speed Racing Network, my team. We do quite a bit together, getting each other better and better. David Duke for sure. He's kind of like our crew chief, I would say. I had some wrecks in the last two races for sure that got me behind the eight ball, but he just kept talking me down, kept me calm, and keep moving forward. And there was some good finishes there. So I want to thank those guys. Steak Dance, Steak Seasoning, CMC Fabrication. I'm sure there's some guys that I'm going to forget, but just so many guys to thank for this.
Well, keep it up, and the leagues are definitely the one way you can improve for sure. I have a lot of fun with league racing, so not just broadcasting, but also racing on myself. So, keep putting the time in, man. You're doing a great job. We've had fun watching the last 4 weeks here, and we hope to see you here soon.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, so Daniel coming in second place. Now this man right here, Damien, coming up in first. Damien, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Hey, congratulations, man. You finally get a win. I know Dover, unfortunately, one of the races that you had sponsored last week didn't really turn out the way you wanted it to, but Richmond seemed to be treating you pretty well.
It's one of my favorite tracks, especially in this package with this Cup car with the low downforce, high horsepower. It's a blast when you can slip and slide around, and if you can just be really consistent, braking early and letting it roll a lot, you can find a lot of long run speed. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of those long runs tonight, but it was still pretty fun. Great track, and when we wore green, we had a lot of good racing.
Yeah, the first 41 laps were probably the best racing tonight out of everything. It's kind of once the caution started flying, it was just one after another, and it seems like a lot of guys in general just losing their cool. But you didn't. You definitely kept a cool head, stayed out of trouble from what you could. I think you had some rear end damage. I'm trying to remember exactly. There's just so much chaos happening. Trying to recall what was going on. Can you kind of walk us through what happened there?
I mean, if you heard my Discord chat, you would not know that I was a cool guy today. There was a lot of numbers going around, but yeah, I got some little bit of damage. Dylan Thomas on one of the restarts getting into one, just didn't know I was checking up. As soon as I did, because I had the leader in front of me and got into the back of me. Me and him have always had a good racing relationship on the track and always give each other a lot of room. So I knew it was probably just a little stack up getting into the corner, not knowing braking points and stuff. So, I mean, there was a lot of hurt feelings today, but I mean, Dylan he's a very clean guy, and I mean, it obviously didn't really hurt the car too much.
Yeah, I don't think the as far as aerodynamics go for this track are too much of a problem as long as that front splitter's in good condition. So based off of that, I mean, how were you feeling coming into Richmond? I know you said it's one of your favorite tracks. I'm assuming you've probably ran here quite a bit then.
Yeah, I ran here quite a bit. Actually, we just had a race in one of my other leagues a couple weeks ago here, and I was one of the fastest cars there and got spun coming to the white flag. Ended up finishing like 21st, so I was pretty bummed about that. And it was a refresher to be able to come here and kind of put some of those demons away, because I know that I'm usually pretty fast here and pretty consistent on the long run, especially.
Well, you definitely did a fantastic job. I mean, again, the chaos was insane. I don't really know what else to say other than that. But I know you were, because you're in Apex, so y'all came in third place, so not bad as far as driver standings go. You'll probably maintain that. I'm not sure if you'll have enough to get past Striker to take that second place spot, but I mean the team as a whole seemed to be doing pretty good. And Justin Krasinski was up front pretty much the whole night with you as well too. It looked like that last restart before we had 5 to go, he had some problems there. It looks like I'm not sure if he got loose or what happened, but yeah, I mean he stayed up pretty much all night. Nick Massey, I know it seemed like he had connection issues pretty much all race, so it was kind of tough there in that sense. But kind of give us a little bit of background on how you got the team together.
And actually, we had Tate Lytle usually runs with us, but he had some unfortunate personal issues happen. So Tate, if you're watching this, we're all praying for you, man. Just if you need us, we're here. We had Ryan Lutz filling in for him today, and Justin, he was one of the first people that got me on iRacing, or not got me, but once I got onto iRacing, that I got in with, and he taught me actually a lot about what I know on the sim. And Nick Massey is he's my teammate in Erska that we usually run with. Ryan Lutz is my team in Elite for Lake Norman's what we have over there, but he actually won a championship for Apex in the Cup Series last year over there. And then Tate is another guy we run with Elite and Erska. We usually have a very good relationship as well. Very couple heated moments between us, but we're always pretty solid around each other on the track.
Well, you did a fantastic job here at Richmond, man. It was a lot of fun watching you, and again, glad that you actually got a win compared to what was going on with Dover. But while you're here, you got some shout outs, so go ahead and give those out.
Yeah, I got to thank Mike from Belly Up. What's up, Belly Up? Came on board for Elite and over here in this one. So just thanks to Mike for being able to put this league on and sponsor me through it. The Batflip podcast, it's kind of weird sponsoring yourself and shouting yourself out, but we're having a good time doing that. Off season's just kicking off, so I think we just did episode 13. We're once a week over there, and just shout out to you guys for broadcasting this. I know tonight was a little hectic, but I know we have a lot better in us that we didn't get to show tonight, but hopefully we'll be able to set something up for a future and you guys can see the real potential of what we have.
Absolutely. The last 3-4 weeks have been a blast from watching everybody here, getting to see some new drivers as well too. So I've had fun. Richmond, unfortunately, may not be the greatest race tonight, but I know there's potential there. So congratulations on your first place finish, man, and hopefully we can see you in the future.
Thanks.
Right, so Damian Leininger coming home with his first win, huge for him. And yeah, like we said before, don't really know what else to say other than tonight was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, there are some races that just, I would say don't get off to a good start, but that's the thing. Like, this race did get off to a good start. So, it looked like it was going to be, pretty calm, and just one thing leads to another. One person gets frustrated at one person, then, it can kind of set off a chain reaction. And that's just what happened tonight. It got to the point to where everybody was mad at pretty much everybody. And it just, it's one that got away. I mean, that's how I would put it. And, it happens. So, these guys will just try to have a short memory for next season, and, hopefully be able to get along from here on out.
Like I was saying before, it looks like if the numbers are correct, the money for team with the most points is most likely going to go to Stay Tuned Sports. So those guys that were in there, even though they look like they were pretty much gunned down the whole race, Scott Crump, Dylan Thomas, Kenny Lowry, Brian Mercurio, those guys look like they're going to be running home with $480. And speaking of Brian Mercurio, looks like he will most likely maintain that individual driver with the most points as well too. So that's going to be another $200 in his pocket. And of course, none of this is possible without the sponsors we had through the whole entire series, the last 4 races. So for tonight, Corner Booth Podcast, Kev, thank you so much for sponsoring this event. I know you probably like the chaos, so you got it here tonight. Make sure you check him out over on Twitter at Corner Booth Pod. That's Corner Booth Pod, and he does everything on sports except for hockey. Hopefully that changes, and then I'll start listening. But yeah, head on over there. He's in the Belly Up Sports Network, so if you've listened to any of those things with Belly Up, those guys got a good little network going on over there. Peak Auto as well too, coming aboard again, having another like main sponsor, so to speak. For everything, you need to go over to peakauto.com/peak squad, get your chance to win a hero card created by Lefty Designs, a guy who does a damn good job with just schemes in general. So win yourself a card. There's only 100 of them, and at the end of the month, if you are picked, you will be contacted by Peak Auto, so hit them up as well too. Obviously, a huge thank you to Mike and Belly Up Sports for allowing us to broadcast this. I know, again, tonight's race probably not where we wanted it to be at, but we know the potential's there in general, and the last 3 races before then were a ton of fun. So a huge thank you to those guys. Alan, definitely huge thank you to you too for coming aboard. It's been a blast having you here beside me and being able to broadcast these races. I know you haven't really been into the whole broadcasting scene with us before, but I'm glad you've gotten a taste of it now with this series.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's sports broadcasting is a part of my real life job, but I haven't really done much with actual commentary in several years. I mostly do behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, it was cool to be able to commentate again for something, and yeah, just definitely got a lot of experience out of this, and it's been fun.
Well, if you like everyone that's watching, make sure you subscribe to Belly Up channel for more racing content as well too. They do podcasts on here as well, kind of little roundups. If you want to check me and Alan out some more, we do have races that we broadcast on Thursday nights over at 10-4 Broadcasting. That's on our YouTube page. We do have league races starting up on Thursday nights, so catch us over there if you want to hear some more. Other than that, thank you guys for hanging out with us here tonight at Richmond.